Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and what I'm going to be making today is a poker tournament trophy for a local tournament. I've got this mould here that makes the aces, and I've also got this rectangular mould that I'm going to be using to make the base to put these in. And now there is a way that I'm going to do this that I'll keep it really sturdy, so I'll show you that at the towards the end once these are cast. And that's going to be a two-tone base. It's going to be part black, part red, because the cards are going to be part black and part red. So what I've got is I've got my resin mixed up, and I need to put the actual colours in. And I need to make sure that I do this round the right way. And I'm not going to need much resin for this, just a tiny little bit. The rest is going to be for the base. I'm going to be using red mica powder for the heart and the diamond, and I'm going to be using black for the spades and the clubs. First of all, for the red, I'm going to pop a little bit of, and I do mean a tiny little bit, of opaque pigment into the red, just to give it a bit more of a solid colour, as you can see. And then I'm going to pop in some red mica powder, and this is quite a deep red mica powder, and I'm going to put quite a lot in because I want it to have a really nice sheen. That will be quite a nice sheeny colour. And the other thing is, because these are quite thin, because actually this mould is designed for chocolate as opposed to resin, but it works really well because it is a silicone mould. Use a resin that you know is going to cure really hard. Now, a lot of people commenting recently saying my art resin doesn't cure hard. Why is that? Well, art resin never cures hard, I'm afraid. I personally don't like art resin because, firstly, it doesn't dry or cure hard ever, I don't think. And secondly, it is such a pain in the neck because it's such a thick resin that it creates so many bubbles. Unless you've got a pressure pot, it is not worth using for casting, because ultimately it is designed as an art resin to pour over the top of pictures and things like that, which it works perfectly fine for. And again, with the black, I'm just going to pop a little bit of opaque pigment. Everything I use today I will put a link to in the description below. So now I've mixed that in, I'm just going to pop in my black glitter. So now that's got some glitter in it, I'm going to put a bit more in because you know me, never enough glitter. You want to try and get it as neat as possible. And what I'm using here is I'm using one of these little micro brushes, and all I'm going to do is pick up some resin in this and pop it in the heart, like so, until it gets to filled up and it's nice and neat. I'd rather do this than rush it and then it not sit nicely in the actual heart itself, and then when it's finished it doesn't look as neat. Yep, so that's enough in there. And then what I'm going to do is the little hearts here, I'm going to do exactly the same. It doesn't take much to fill these up to the point where you want them. I'm also going to be doing the same for the letter. So these have been curing now for about, I don't know, about 6 hours. And what I'm going to be using to fill these up, of course, is I'm going to be using some pipettes, because these aren't deep and I don't want to really go about and overfill them. Is squeeze some resin in it and allow that to find its own place, and that way you are less likely to get lots of bubbles in it as well that are going to come up. And it feels quite easy, and this is why I say you really need to use a resin that when it cures it is absolutely hard, because if not, what you'll find is these cards will be bendy forever because they are quite thin. And you don't want them to be really thick, you want them to look realistically like a card. So there we go. That'll be enough in there for this one. What I will do is I will wait 5 minutes once I've filled them all up and then go over it with my long-necked lighter. Not a torch, because this is a chocolate mould as well, but torches will... These sorts of torches, you've got to be so careful. They'll burn a mould so quickly and make your resin stick to it, where that isn't likely to happen with a long-necked lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off filling these up, and then we will come back and I'll show you how I'm going to attach them to this base. The cards are all ready now. I've glued the cards together now, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be popping them into this block like so. But obviously I need to make some dents in that. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my Dremel with this little bit on here, and then I'm just going to drill through or grind through into there where I want them. I'm going to put my mask on first before I do that. Safety first, everybody. Got my little slots now cut out, and all I need to do is set this into those little slots so it fits in there nice and easy. And I am actually going to be using UV resin for this rather than what I would normally use, which is 5-minute epoxy. And how I'm going to do this is I'm just going to fill these up, but not all the way, because obviously it's going to displace some of it. And because it's black, it doesn't really show. And then pop that into those holes. Make sure it's in the position that I want it to be in. And then just turn on the UV light, holding it upright. And just keep holding it in place while the UV light's on it. And there we go, that's all nicely finished now. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. It's quite a good project, easy project. Don't forget to hit the like button, thank you very much, and also the subscribe button. Check out my members only area, and if you'd love to buy me a coffee, it really does help me. I've got some expensive projects coming up soon that I need to buy some equipment for, and I'm sure you'll love them. Check out the video that's coming up at the end, which is another experiment I did, and I look forward to seeing you in that video soon. Bye.